It's one of the world's biggest economies, and it's fast going down the gurgler. Italy is in dire straits, and it's threatening to take the rest of Europe down with it. But the man who should be steering the country through the crisis has his hands everywhere but on the wheel. Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi lurches from one scandal to the next. Corruption, fraud, wild sex parties, and now accused of sex with an underage prostitute. It's enough to rival the worst of ancient Rome, with an emperor fiddling while his city burns.
For centuries, Italians have gone about their daily lives alongside the ancient ruins of the Roman Empire. Today, their nation again faces ruin, total economic collapse under the weight of Europe's financial crisis. And again, their emperor is failing them.
We are fed up with it. He has been kind of amusing us enough. You can be amused to death.
Silvio Berlusconi is a multi-billionaire, a charismatic businessman and a notorious ladies' man. He's also Italy's Prime Minister. But many Italians, like sociologist Franco Ferrarotti, no longer believe Berlusconi is the solution to the country's woes. In fact, he's fast becoming its biggest problem.
I think Mr. Berlusconi has gone too far. He has let himself go to an extreme. And from that point of view, I think the image of Italy worldwide might have been smeared, that might have been damaged because of the private vices of a public man.
Private vices recently made public in all their sordid glory. Italians learned that their Prime Minister entertains selected friends at sex parties called Bunga Bunga, where entertainment is provided by a bevy of young women like Nadia Macri.
Ragazze, fai conto 25, Sì, c'erano molte ragazze, tantissime.
Yes, there were lots of girls, many girls, really a lot.
Io e, 5-6 ragazze.
I and 5 or 6 other girls went into a room where we bathed. He came in wearing a bathrobe and nothing else. I could see he was ready for sex.
But worse, Nadia will soon testify that at least one of the girls Berlusconi paid for sex was underage, a crime which in Italy can carry a 7-year jail term. The Bunga Bungas took place at many of Berlusconi's residences around the country, but this is the most famous, a mansion just outside Milan. And what happened in the basement here, what might still be happening, is more in keeping with ancient Rome than modern Italy.
You don't acquire power overnight and you don't lose it overnight. But certainly, I think now people are realizing that the man has been playing too long. And it's time to change.
Not surprisingly, the embattled Prime Minister declined our numerous interview requests.
He's doing the reforms that are needed. I don't know what do you expect of a Prime Minister. Maybe that he becomes an angel. Maybe this country would need an angel to govern it. I don't know.
Instead, he sent MP Deborah Bergamini to mount his defence.
Italian people have never judged their politicians according to their personal standards.
But surely,
and I don't see at the moment Mr. Berlusconi doing anything illegal.
But hang on, we've got one girl who says she received thousands of euros.
She said that she received gifts from Mr. Berlusconi, not that she received money in exchange of whatever else.
No cash, but thousands of dollars in gifts.
Yeah.
But even the free-thinking Italians are struggling with the fact that as their nation teeters on the edge of bankruptcy with debts of $2.6 trillion, as recently as 4 weeks ago, their Prime Minister was hosting orgies fit for a Roman emperor.
Berlusconi is really a perfect incarnation of some basic Italian tradition.
Are Italians unaware of the things Berlusconi gets up to, or do they just simply choose to ignore it?
No, it's worse than that. They are aware and they are envious. Good for him, they can do it. You know, we consider telling the truth, only the truth, a lack of imagination.
You expect your leaders to tell lies?
Yes. Telling lies is almost considered a fine art, reinventing reality, you see.
Are you saying that if Mr. Berlusconi went around telling the truth, you'd be disappointed?
Oh, that would be terrible. Nobody would believe him.
And if Berlusconi tells lies, he tells them to a captive audience. His $4 billion empire includes control of 90% of Italy's mainstream television. And sure enough, you find scantily clad young women on every channel. These showgirls are known as velina, or tissue paper. But that hasn't stopped Berlusconi turning his favourites into members of his government.
He pretends to promote talents. Of course, his idea of talent is extremely broad.
What sort of talent are we talking about?
Well, he would say mental, physical, and whatnot. But some of the young ladies that he has promoted, with some exception, of course, turn out to be pretty good.
There's the Minister for Equal Opportunity, Mara Cafagna, once a men's magazine model. Before she became a regional representative in Lombardy, Nicole Minetti was Berlusconi's dental hygienist. And member of the European Parliament, Barbara Matera, had a former career as a TV host.
So he can use the system to promote his favourites?
Yeah, more or less.
Vice President of the Senate, Emma Bonino, like thousands of Italian women, is outraged that Berlusconi is turning politics into a pageant.
Let me be very, very clear. The relation between power and sex is not new. It goes back something like 3,000 years or more, since Cleopatra onward.
And always very big in Rome too.
Exactly. But I think definitely it has reached a limit that is not tolerable, simply for the respect you must show for any human being.
But who are these women? I don't see any women that has been promoted in the parliament just for her beauty.
Oh, come on, let's be serious. I mean, let me give you the names. Mara Cafagna, a model, now a minister for equal opportunity.
Yeah, but in between she did politics.
Nicole Minetti.
She's not in parliament.
A showgirl. She's a regional deputy for Lombardy.
Yeah.
Your boss, Berlusconi, admits that his political recruits are bimbos. They're airheads. He says, in his own words, "I'm like Prince Charming. They were pumpkins, and I turned them into parliamentarians."
Maybe you could do this, you could say this for me too. What do you believe?
Were you a pumpkin?
What do you think?
But over nearly 2 decades, Italians had learned to live with their leader's weakness for women and his repeated public gaffes, which made him the clown of the world political stage. He once joked about US President Barack Obama having a suntan.
Aspetta, era uno abbronzato, Barack Obama.
He famously kept German leader Angela Merkel waiting at a NATO summit while he wrapped up a call on his mobile phone. And he even managed to upset the Queen with his loud greeting to President Obama at a G20 photo shoot.
If he wasn't your prime minister, it would almost be funny.
Well, I think, no, he has to step out of politics altogether. Completely.
And since the Bunga Bunga revelations, many Italians agree. You see, although we staged this recreation, it's no exaggeration. Secret recordings of the parties paint a very clear picture. And so does Nadia Macri, an escort who was twice hired to have sex with her prime minister.
So it was like a big party that he was in the middle of.
Sì, una sorta di festa.
Yes, a party. There were escort girls like me, but there were also girls who worked for television, girls for Big Brother. There were also famous girls there.
And then when you took your clothes off for the Prime Minister, he said what?
Lui era sdraiato così.
I could see he was ready for sex. Then he called out, "Girls, one at a time, come into my room." He was lying back, and one at a time we went in and had sex with him.
Prestazione sessuale.
Morality aside, authorities are alarmed by such a large-scale breach of security at the Prime Minister's official residence. Model Barbara Montoriali was one of scores of young women who came and went at the Bunga Bunga parties without even being questioned.
You were allowed to just go into the Prime Minister's home with a camera in your bag. Nothing was searched?
No, non c'è stato nessun controllo
No,
all'inizio.
there was no security. I had my camera in my handbag. Nobody stopped me from bringing it in. Given the importance of the place, it wasn't a private house, but a political palazzo. There should have been more security.
You could have had whatever you wanted to in your handbag.
Effettivamente sì.
Actually, yes.
It was a question of also national security. All of these young girls could really blackmail him for forever.
Some of the Bunga Bunga girls came from his TV stations. Some were literally found on the street, but others were hand-picked by people like Francesco Soprani, whose job it is to decorate special events and VIP parties with beautiful women.
What particular kind of woman were they looking for?
Prevalentemente ragazze more.
Mainly dark-skinned women with big breasts, the classic Mediterranean women. Ruby was a classic of this time.
Ruby è l'esempio classico.
Ruby is Ruby Rubicore, or Ruby Heartstealer, a Moroccan lap dancer who prosecutors allege was 17 when Berlusconi paid her for sex. It's one of a range of charges he's now facing, and this time, even being a billionaire world leader may not keep him out of jail.
Berlusconi is offering the world a caricature of this country, an atrociously vicious image of this country that this country does not deserve.
Berlusconi built his fortune and fame on the three fundamental forces that drive human nature: money, power, and sex. Italy's economic disaster, coupled with the latest scandal, may mean the end of his power. And though he might see out his days with plenty of the other two, his political legacy will be a broken country and the infamous term Bunga Bunga.
Even a country that somehow believes that we are all sons and daughters of the original sin, even Italy cannot accept that forever. The thing has to end. It's coming to an end right now.
Hello, I'm Tara Brown. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minutes segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.